Welcome all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture. My name is Maria Kądzielska-Koper, and with me on Skype is Aaron Rhodes, an activist of human rights and a writer. Aaron, thank you very much for calling us.
It's my pleasure.
We are right now based in Hamburg in Germany, but you are, of course, an American working on human rights for already many years. And right now, it's the time of, let's say, a lot of challenges when it comes to human rights. And what we see around the world, it becomes even more and more difficult to be the advocates of human rights. But talking about the fact you were for very many years the executive director of International Helsinki Federation of Human Rights between 1993 and 2007. Aaron, tell us about this experience and how it what sort of influence it makes until today on your position on human rights.
Well, today, looking back on this work that I did with the Helsinki Federation, I find it very discouraging. Frankly, I have a deep sense of failure with regard to our efforts. And I think if you had asked me and my colleagues in the 1990s about, if we would have believed what is going on today in human rights, especially in the post-Soviet region, we would have not believed this. We believed that things were improving, and things were improving for a few years. And the 1990s, Maria, was this kind of the high age of liberal internationalism and the spread of human rights. The sense that there was a wave of democratization going on, not only in Europe but in other places in the world also, and of course, Francis Fukuyama famously said that this was the end of history, and that a liberal democracy and neoliberalism, have proved to be, the best way for all countries of the world. And human rights in those days, we had terrible challenges, and there were wars going on. There was a war in Yugoslavia that we were deeply involved with. There was a war in Kosovo that we were deeply involved with, and there was a war in Chechnya. By the way, I think I'm one of the few Western human rights activists that ever went to Chechnya during this, because and the reason is that these big human rights organizations, they have insurance, and their insurance companies wouldn't allow them to go there. But we didn't have any insurance.
Well, it makes things easier, definitely, in this way.
And a couple of times, but about 150,000 civilians died in this war.
Oh, yeah, so
they were just, what the Russians did in Chechnya. Well, that's what they're doing in Ukraine today.
And right now, to be honest, after Chechnya and after the, for Poles at least, after when the Berlin Wall fell and we gained also our independence, we thought that in our region the war will actually not be possible anymore, that the things will go smoothly and more in a democratic way. And Ukraine, of course, had this huge dreams about becoming the part of European Union. And right now, a huge part of its territory is attacked by Russia. People are fleeing. We have a huge human crisis. We're receiving the refugees, which are they lived in the horrible conditions. And I think for the first time, at least in Poland, in the modern world, my generation, so people who never saw war with their own eyes, we saw the central stations in the middle of winter, so in February, because the war started on the 24th of February 2022, the modern war, the current war. So, we like a week later, we saw our central station in the middle of winter packed with mothers and children sleeping on the floor, and there was no place to put them. Very quickly, of course, the society opened their own doors. But for the first time, I saw myself what war is really like. The people flee, they have no hope, they don't see where the future is going on. And this just happened on our border and the border of European Union and the border of the free world. And of course, the American soldiers who needed to stay in Rzeszów on our border and created the base, which works until today. So when you look at the human rights, do they end with the American sphere of influence?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, of course, during this period which I was talking about, in the 1990s, this was the zenith of American influence in the world. And
Aaron, let's make it an open question and start another episode with this question and with your answer with it. Right now we are wrapping up this one. And to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture, you see those are very difficult questions, but also very important to answer. And I do hope you stay tuned and you watch another episode, because we do try to comment on what's going on in our region and what's going on in the world. And thank you for watching Poland Daily Culture.